And good morning. My name's John Kelsey. I'm standing here in our Lancaster Woodturners club space above Kauffman Kitchens in New Holland, Pennsylvania, at the old jet, 1236 woodworking lathe with a piece of wood on it. I'm going to set up a big TV with a camcorder so the club can see demonstrations large on the screen without anybody having to crowd around the lathe. This camcorder and TV will be at the center of any future hybrid meeting or Zoom setup the club decides to go for. But for now, easy, pretty quick to set up, and pretty as bomb-proof as we're going to get with Zoom. This is the club's big TV. It's a 65 or a 70-inch Samsung, I'm not sure. The stand it's on is actually a regular $180 floor stand for TVs. When we got it, that's going to fall over. So Barry made this very heavy cabinet with storage drawers for all our cords that the TV stand goes right into. So if you want to topple this TV, you got to take the cabinet with it. And it's got industrial casters with locks on it. It's very, very nicely done by our friend Barry Price. Okay, so here's the big TV. And it'll tilt on its easel, and we can park it where we like. And for this demo, we're going to put it back here a little bit. Yeah, that's a good place. All right. The back of the TV has a power cord here, a set of jacks here, and we're going to use HDMI 1 to connect our camcorder. There's a second HDMI, there's a USB, there's a network jack, and there's something optical. But I'm not going to and there's an antenna, but I'm not going to get concerned with any of those. This is the one I want, regular HDMI. This is one of the club's Canon Vixia camcorders. It's a Canon HF200 Vixia. It means it's about 2008, maybe 2010 when it was made. The Vixias are kind of a sweet spot among camcorders, but you can find some pretty nice pieces among Sonys and Panasonics as well. Just make sure they output HDMI or you'll have connectivity issues and dongles all over the place. And make sure they have a good wide range of zoom. You can find them refurb for $350 to $400. And if you want a real deal, look on local online marketplace for something deeply used. These cameras are perfectly good in all generations as far as I know. I haven't worked with the HF10 series. The current series is 800. It has an open side screen here. That's your settings screen, an adjustment screen, and your preview screen. The on-off switch is up here on the top of the barrel there. This is the zoom in and out switch. As you can see, it comes right up and it shows whatever the camera is looking at. It has a battery, but also a power plug here, which is its own special little jack. That little round one and this guy, some of them are quite different. It plugs in there, and it's connected to an extension cord in the usual manner. And then over on this side, there's an HDMI mini port, which is the one I want. And I have a cable here that has an HDMI mini regular end and an HDMI mini end. So I'm going to plug the mini end into the camcorder. And I'm going to turn it around again so I can begin to see through it. The tripod's a bit stiff. The tripod came from a yard sale for $20. You don't want to skimp on these cables. Cheap cables are not going to work. Long cables are not going to work. Short as you can make the run, and buy good quality from a brand that makes and sells cables, not just some unbranded El Cheapo. Okay, now I can see through the camcorder that's looking at the lathe. The camcorder is on. These other things here allow me to work with the settings, and one needs to download the manual for the camera you have and find out how to turn off all of the menu settings from showing up in the feed out, and set the camera so that it's putting out through the HDMI port. And that'll be a little different for each camera as well. You just have to work out what these menus tell you. This older Vixia has a physical switch here that you can turn to set it on record video or take pictures. But for our purposes, since we're connected directly to the monitor, it doesn't make any difference. You get the same result with either setting. This newer Vixia has the same setting for camera photography on its screen. If you click that button, you take a still picture. And that button there tells me that it's going to be playing and recording video. Although we're not using it to record, we're only using it to send a signal to the big TV or to the computer for Zoom. Now I come around back here and I plug the regular HDMI into HDMI 1, which is there. Now that's in. Now you can see the whole setup here. There's the camcorder, there's the lathe, and there's the big TV, and we're still recording. So now I'm going to come over here and turn on the big TV, which has a clicker. And there's what the camera's seeing, and that sound means I have to turn off the speaker. Has to be muted, otherwise you're going to get feedback. Anytime you have two mics open in the room, you're going to get feedback. And the camera has a mic inside it, and I'm wearing a mic in order to make this recording. So there's the camera looking at the lathe. There's the big TV showing what the lathe looks like through the camcorder. Tripod's not bad, it moves fairly steady, a little stiff. Now I, the operator, can come in here, and you may see how I'm standing, how I'm rotating my bevel, how I'm making sure the workpiece clears the tool rest, and how I'm going to move along this workpiece by swaying from my ankles the way turners are taught to do. Now, one thing about these camcorders is, although they have a battery and they'll run on the battery, they'll also cut out when the battery reaches its whatever, and then you'll go blank and you won't even know it. So it's much better to plug them in and let them run on AC power through their own little transformers. The HDMI cable is good. This cable is a little short for this setup, but this isn't the permanent setup. This is a test bed, and I can see in the screen here what's going on. I also see in the screen all of the camera information that does not show up over there, and that's a setting way down deep in the Canon menus. Now look at the zoom effect. Notice the block of wood. Now notice the zoom range that's available here. This is as far out as it goes, and you can see it on the big screen. And now watch me come in. There's right on the end of the block of wood. And I can go out a little bit. So I just see the tool rest. And now I'll show you how that looks. So now if I'm the turner in the picture, you will see my left hand controlling the tool and guiding along the tool rest as I go anchor, bevel, raise the handle to cut, and then sway my body along the lathe. Okay, that's the tailstock position. And the position that I'm using here is about 3 feet, 4 feet off the tail of the lathe. I'm probably about 6 feet from the tool rest. And I'm about a foot, 18 inches on the turner side of the lathe. So I see his body, I see the tool rest, and I see the tool. This tailstock location is your key position on the home view, and from here you can zoom in or out as needed and frame the camcorder to show what the demonstrator intends to show. And then you can sit down and pretty much most of the time leave it alone, and it'll show the room what they want to see. Next, the thing that people want to get very often is the over-the-shoulder view. As I come in close and look down and zoom in, I can see a lot about the bevel, the workpiece, and the fact that the tool rest is too far from the workpiece for safety. But the lathe is unplugged, and I don't intend to turn it on today during this demo. I can come in that far, and if I let it stabilize, it will focus and read that mark. You have to wait for the autofocus to stabilize. You don't usually want that view, but once in a while, it's exactly what you want. And you'll also see chips fly off pretty well there. You can even be right over here on the headstock side, and you get a pretty good view as well. So the camera's very versatile. From my position here at the tail, it's really quite easy to pick up the tripod and come around here to look at the turner at the lathe. And now the turner can stand behind the lathe, explain work, hold work up, discuss what he's going to do, and look into the camera and address the members in the room who are sitting out there beyond the camera. These cameras aren't very big. They don't just really disrupt anyone's view. It can also be off to the side and do the same thing. The camcorder really shines for show and tell. I can put the camera on the show and tell object and see the member indicating the parts of it, touching parts of it. I can bring the camcorder way up for a close look. And we can look at the tiniest features of the workpiece. The turner can point to it and tell you what he or she would like you to understand from this view. The more useful view, of course, is the general view that shows the piece big on the screen. While the member discusses their piece and explains what they've done to the room. And the room can then see whatever he or she wants to point at, large, there. I think you can see from this little demo that as many clubs have done over the years, clubs have acquired big TVs like this, camcorders like this, and used them to show the demo in exquisite detail to a room full of turners without anybody having to stand crowded around the lathe. Everyone can see, everyone gets a good view, and the demonstrator can see everyone in the room. He can take questions, people can relate to one another. The camera is versatile. It can be used to move to other machines. You can look at the grinder, you can look at the bandsaw. You can bring whatever your demo is doing. And let's not ever forget show and tell. You can also record on the camera, whatever the camera sees. And you can just take your time and move it around to where it has to go and delete those spots out of the recording later on if you want to. So, big TV like this, maybe $750. This is a 65 or 70-inch model bought about a year ago. There's always a sweet spot around that number. Used camcorder, $100. Tripod, $20. Cabling, I think that was a $30 cable. You're going to need a power strip, another $30 for a computer grade power strip. Barry built the cabinet. We had a lot of the parts, so there was some plywood and some MDF in here. We had the drawer slides already, and the TV stand, which was $100. So that's the investment. It's around $1,000, $1,200 for a club, but no club that has ever done this level of investment has regretted it. This gear is good for a long time. You'll be able to, whether your club goes no further down the hybrid path, a setup like this, you will not regret the expenditure. But the next thing that happens is to bring it all onto Zoom in a 1 to 3 camera setup, and that's what we're going to do next.